Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're enjoying your Sunday wherever you may be sat for today's action of Round 8 for the International IndyCar League, which takes us back to the American sunshine, although it looks rather sunset more than sunshine at the moment out there. But we are back at Phoenix Raceway, a slightly hash brown shaped oval to make up this short, fast and technical oval, where today we take to 190 laps or 190 miles around this 1 mile speedway nestled in the American desert, a famous venue that is known for holding the title decider of the likes of the NASCAR Cup Series Championship, and a venue that has sprung up plenty of action with this newer generation of IndyCar. Joining me alongside in the commentary box today is Sébastien Kinder, as always. And well, Seb, I think you were in action yourself recently in the International IndyCar League, and I think that we have a relatively strong field on our hands today.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the field we have right now, we have 11 drivers. John Christensen starting last because of his EOL, because he won last week. So this will be a very interesting race because Phoenix is always a good track for IndyCars.
Exactly, a very technical and sophisticated circuit to get right, I think. But as I believe qualifying has already been done and dusted, we can get into the grid for Round 8 here at Phoenix. But before we do that, I want to get a good shout out and sponsor read for today's fantastic sponsor, one that is close to the hearts of many drivers on the grid today, which is the Alzheimer's Association, which leads the way to end Alzheimer's and all other dementia by accelerating global research, driving risk reduction and early detection, and maximizing quality care and support. To find them online, please go to https://www.alz.org/, and there you will be able to find all the information you need for today's sponsor. Now, with that out of the way, you can see the cars lined up ready to go in the pit lane, and it's going to be pole position for David Stridd, our championship leader, and Mr. P2 in the championship alongside him, Mr. Jason Lowe. That's going to be an exciting one to watch. Row 2 is home to Dan Ench and Ryan Bowles in the 25. Two more strong competitors taking up row number 2. Row number 3, Mike West, Merlin Vogelsang, again, very strong competitors. Look for what they can make of this race. Row number 4, Matty Simpson and Callum Ford. Row 5, Arman Lau, I believe a rather late entry in today's race alongside Rick Loverson. John Christensen then bringing up the rear of the field courtesy of his end of line penalty. So make sure to have a look out for him to see what he can do in this 190 lap race. As the pace car is already off into the pit lane, Seb, we are going to be going green very, very shortly.
Yeah, I'm seeing the inside lane. It's not very formed up now, isn't it?
Yeah, but we're going to go very, very early, and it's going to be guns blazing super early on for our pole sitter, David Stridd. He's going to take the green flag and lead us underway here at Phoenix. The rest of the field fanning themselves out into single file relatively early on as we ride on board there with Dan Ench very briefly, but it's going to be David Stridd that takes us around and in the lead to finish lap number 1. You see a couple of side-by-sides there in the background, but it's going to be relatively plain sailing so far, I believe, in this very early stages of the Phoenix 190 here this evening. We have a deploy rate on the hybrid units of 100% and a recharge rate of 50%. So the drivers definitely have some extra tools and gadgets in the cockpit with them to help get some overtaking done, Seb.
Yeah, and another weapon they could use is using that regen when you lift off completely. You have like the normal braking of the recharge taking place, and you can recharge the battery, and that can also help you deal with dirty air. Yeah, because dirty air is going to be very important here today, Jack. They gotta be ahead of their tools, the wayjacker, anti-roll bars, and even use the regen button too to help them slow down enough to navigate through the dirty air.
So we ride on board there with Simpson there having a look at those in front being, whoa, damage. And who was that in the wall? I missed that.
That was the monster car that we have on screen right now.
So that was Simpson, I believe, then, as we're going to ride on board with him, following Dan Inch in front, looking for the move into the final two corners here, and just...
He got into the marbles. Yeah, he got into the marbles because there was no dirty air. Like, he wasn't clean air, like he was high enough, but he was too high, and then boom, marbles.
He's actually under attack here from Aman Lau. Aman Lau's going to look to the inside of Simpson, the number 3. We're looking back from that Monster Energy number 3 on the back foot a little bit, and you can see that purple Velocity Online racing car storming to the outside line as they go towards turns number 1 and 2. Will Aman Lau be able to hold it around the outside? Well, that's not even a question. He's ahead before they even get to the corner. Aman Lau swoops around the outside up into P7, and then Simpson actually loses out to John Christensen as well, who's made good progress. Whoa, tap on the wall there for Milan Vogelsang. But yeah, pointing out there, John Christensen up into 8th place from the back of the grid so early on, Seb.
Yeah, I mean, again, we don't have huge grids, so I would say like that EOL like for winning the previous race is not as penalizing as it will be with a 20 or a 30 car grid. But yeah, John's still doing his work. I mean, he's sneaky good, that little fella. Oh, as I see someone else also hitting the wall in turn 1. He'll be clean, he'll be consistent, and you know, without noticing, like, he's top 5 at the end of the day.
Yeah, the field lapping relatively closely at the minute as we run aboard the number 9. I believe we're alongside. No, we're not. We're just having a look at the inside of who is that. That's going to be Ford in the 86. Callum Ford holding position for the moment in the top 10, fighting over the last of the top 10 positions, albeit we do only have 11 cars running with us this evening, and it's actually going to be a bad run on the back straight for Callum Ford. Is Loverson going to be able to find a way up the inside? He's going to send it to the inside line. He's going to find the overlap. He's going to stay on the overlap. A little bit of a struggle there for Ford on the outside line, but it's going to be Loverson that finds his way back past up into the top 10 positions.
For our NASCAR of Brevin, or maybe watching this race, the dogleg is off limits. They cannot go lower than the yellow line to cut the cheese there in the dogleg.
We look back to Aman Lau, a man that's making very good progress at the moment. It's going to be Ench versus Aman Lau. We'll see, will he be able to find his way past as quickly as he did around Simpson earlier on? And it's going to be the outside line again. He seems to like this line, does Aman Lau, and he's going to get on that hybrid button, no doubt, and he's going to swoop again once to the outside line, all the way around the outside, the wall of death line at turns 1 and 2, and it's going to be another place gain for that number 30.
Great job getting around that outside. Yeah, he's probably using hybrid so to make that outside lane work. And you know, when you're trying to overtake around the outside, you need to like overshoot a bit. You need to be you need always to make sure that at the exit of the even number corners, you have at least a part of your car on the outs still side by side with the car you're trying to overtake, because that forces them to cut a bit. And oh, Simpson already in the pits, and that doesn't look too good, Jack.
This could be a fast repair for Simpson, but he's going to get out the car, and I believe that's going to be done so early on for the number 3. So
interesting.
I wonder if that's going to be a connection issue or an issue with hardware or something that we can't actually see at the moment. But the car looked relatively fine. I mean, I didn't see any visual damage on the car at the moment, but potentially just parking the day.
He did hit the wall earlier, Jack, so maybe there was like some suspension, maybe the car wasn't turning straight. I don't know. Lots of theories for why Simpson is calling it a day so early in the race.
Yeah, but it's been a clean day and clean running for David Strid, who leads the way on lap number 17. Already 17, nearly 20 laps in the books here of our 190. And that leads me off perfectly to once again mention today's fantastic sponsor, which is none other than the Alzheimer's Association, which leads the way to end Alzheimer's and all other dementia by accelerating global research, driving risk reduction and early detection, and maximizing quality care and support. Find them online at www.alz.org/ to find out all the information that you would like to know about this fantastic charity. They do fantastic work, and they are very close with a couple of drivers that are on the grid and racing with us this evening. One, I believe, is Dan Ench, who has had a fairly good race so far, up into 7th position, just behind this man on screen. which was Aman Lal, but now this is Dan Ench here in the purple and white livery with the blue wheels. Started third, currently 7th, potentially just saving his tyres a little bit, trying to play the longer game. I think he'll be happy with where he is at the moment, although it isn't in that top 3 where he started, Seb, but I think strategy is going to play a big part today.
Yeah, I don't know how much, since it's half fuel, I think it's probably around 40 laps, probably, of a fuel cell. But yeah, still strategies, whether you want to pit early to get like those fresh tires and get an undercut, or you want to go to play the longer game. I'm honestly looking forward to what will happen with the strategies. And Aman Lal, he said in the chat early in the race, like, are you going to call out like he had apparently a bad pit entry last season? So pit entry at Phoenix. That's fine.
Yeah, no, that did cross my mind, actually. I didn't want to bring it up, but since you mentioned it, last time I covered a Phoenix race where Aman Lal was doing oh so well, I believe it was actually a couple of seasons ago, as he finds his way to the inside of, who is that? That is going to be
West.
Mike West, and West is actually going to fight back and say, no, you don't. I'm not going to make this one as easy as the last couple of passes you have made, and the 69 holds on to that 5th place. But back to what I was saying, is you can see Aman Lal actually getting a little bit closer, so I'm going to hold off on my story time just for the moment, as these two are really battling hard over that 5th place, as we look now to briefly to Rick Loverson before we switch back to the number 30 chasing down the 69. Towards the start finish line we go, and Aman Lal really likes that wider line off the exit of turn 4, doesn't he?
He does. We've seen it do it also much, and oh my god, there wasn't much room to go around the outside there, buddy. But yeah, that's the important thing to master on any racetrack. If you have multiple lines, you better master all of them, because right there, Lal is kind of stuck on the outside, and he has to wait for West to open the door, and he did, and that's going to spell disaster for the American driver.
Who's just going to hold the place for the
switch.
moment, but the over and under from Aman Lal, he's going to find the inside line into turn number 4, and he's going to have more than enough alongside. Can he slide up in front of the 69? Yes, he can, so that's 5th place now for Aman Lal, and he's going to be hoping that as I go back to the story I was telling, that pit entry that is due to be coming not in a million miles away is going to be a lot cleaner than one that he made a few seasons ago, spinning to the inside on pit entry. I hope that he doesn't get me too bad for that as we look at a replay for Ford.
Oh, that's a big hit, and there's probably some suspension damage to Kevin Ford. That explains why he's now 3 laps down.
Yeah, so he's fallen 3 laps off the lead, and I believe that will be another unfortunate retirement. The drivers do have one fast repair at their disposal, but when you're 3 laps down, you really need a caution to bring yourself back closer to contention. I mean, being 3 laps down is a very tall ask, considering we only have 190 laps with us today, 28 of which have been led by this man, David Strid, our championship leader, riding on board with the helmet cam into the turn number 1 and 2 combination before we head out onto the back straight. And you can see how calm his inputs are in towards turn number 4. One swoop of the steering wheel in, one swoop of the steering wheel back out, as we see Ryan Bowles now into the pit lane.
So that was more 30 laps fuel tank then, I guess.
Yeah, so he's going to find himself trundling down the pit lane at a very tame 47 miles per hour as he finds his pit box. It's going to be very late in the pit lane, I believe, because he was quite far up in the qualifying grid. He is down 5, so that makes him up in... Yeah, so he was on the 2nd row of the grid. Finds his box, and there's actually going to be a whole host of drivers down into the pits. Who is that?
That's I see Dan Ench, I see John Christensen, I see Mike West. I think nearly the entirety of the grid Jack here is spinning.
Yeah, it looks like the entire grid only managing to squeeze out 32 laps per stint. So that's going to be something to take note of going forward, and we'll have to have a look to see if anyone managed to go longer as we look at the Renewal Studios Vogelzang, who is in the first spot at the moment, but it's going to be Ryan Bowles who's the first out onto the circuit. And you're going to see he's going to come out with a bunch of traffic there. It's going to be Aman Lal and David Strid going side by side just in front. Can Ryan Bowles capitalise on those guys coming out on an outlap? You're going to see the closing speed, Seb, and I think he might be able to get it done.
Yeah, that's what fresh tires does, and especially the undercut of Phoenix is always so powerful as Volgazang is in the pits, so that's very interesting.
Yeah, so Volgazang managed to go a little bit longer, so that might play into his favour come the end of the race, although he will have the fresher tyres compared to those around him riding on board at the moment with Ryan Bowles in the 25.
If you do only stints of 30 laps, your last pit stop, if it goes entirely green, I mean, nothing's sure.
Yeah, so Volgazang is going to be one lap later as Ryan Bowles looks to the outside of Aman Lal. That sneaky miss there as he goes to the outside line. He's not going to be able to carry the momentum on that number 30. I think the purple number 30 of Aman Lal has mastered the outside line and doesn't want to get beaten at his own craft. So Ryan Bowles looks to the inside in comparison, washes slightly up the racetrack, has to back out of it to not make contact with the Altena Autosport machine in front, and actually drops back a good few lengths now. So Ryan Bowles maybe deciding to look on the side of caution and protect some tyres as we have a new leader.
Yeah, Jason Lowe is on the pit phase. So I don't know what happened to Strait, but he must have really screwed up his pits, because he had a 2-second lead on Lowe, and now Lowe is 2 seconds ahead.
I think a lot of time can be made and lost on not the pit entry itself, but actually leaving your box. If you can make a fantastic getaway and launch out of your pit box, you can really gain a lot of time. Or we could see Jason Lowe have an even shorter middle stint in this race, and he could have simply put less fuel in the car compared to those around him. So it could be a strategy for Jason Lowe to build the gap in this and then fuel up to the end later on.
So Jack, I'm going to say something very interesting. Jason Lowe spent 41.8 seconds in the pit lane. David Strid spent 45 and 677 thousandths of a second in the pit lane. So that means David Strid lost 4 seconds in the pit lane.
Yeah, and that doesn't point to Jason Lowe actually fueling less compared to those around him, as I'm looking on the timing sheets. And
there's
those
only
of
6 tenths actually of gap between their pit stop times, actually.
Yeah, so he must have lost the time actually in the pit lane itself, as those around as a total pit stop time. You know, that's the time from when they cross the pit line to the pit exit, as we see Aman Lal dive to the inside of David Strid in the 48. Can he get the move done? He's going to clear him before the apex of the corner. Beautiful move there from Aman Lal. We've seen him do that before this evening, but David Strid says no, not quite yet, as he dives now to the inside, hugs that yellow line, and will he be able to clear the 30? Not
I know,
quite. They're going to still go side by side.
And Lal got it, but wow, cheeky battle there, and yeah, good job on Strid to come back and undercutting Lal, trying to keep that position, but I don't know what happened to him, and suddenly...
big crash on the back straight. Milan Vogelzang's hard into the inside wall. Caution comes out.
Interesting. Well, wow, that car is destroyed, so...
We're going to get an instant replay of this. I look up out of the commentary box and see Milan Vogelzang hard into the inside wall. So who's this? He's going to go... I believe this is Callum Ford that he's battling with at the moment. Is he just going to wash up?
From a mile away. Oh, netcode!
Oh,
that's terrible.
You can't do much as a driver in that situation, as you know, when you have a car that you can't even see and don't even know where they are. As there he goes.
Where is he?
And he gets a horrible tank slapper in the 26. Vogelzang finds himself hard into the inside wall. He will have a fast repair to his disposal, but yeah, very unfortunate as we ride on board now with the 86. Completely vanishes, spawns back in, already made contact with the inside wall, and yeah, a front left suspension failure for him. Sees him tow very, very early on. As we look back now to live pictures, A lot of drivers coming down pit road for the second time. Those being John Christensen, Ryan Bowles. I believe that is Mike West as well there in the background. We'll see who wins the race off of pit road. Dan Ench pulling in front of Ryan Bowles there, so don't expect him to be in this race at the moment as we ride on board now with Aman Lal Seb. We'll see who wins the Brit. Oh, there's a spin!
Oh! What on earth has happened there?
That is going to be detrimental there to Ryan Bowles. He's going to drop, no doubt, to the back of this pace line now. We're going to get an instant replay.
Oh, yeah, too much of the throttle jack. Good.
Just over the surface change.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't need to be over aggressive with it. I mean, we have small grids and stuff like that, so man, it's a good thing. That car stay on the left side and in the pit boxes where you can phase through people.
Yeah, so unfortunately, it was a really good launch, I think, and you just saw the rears continued to spin, and as he sort of reached the second phase of the launch, maybe a bit too aggressive on the clutch release and finding the rear of that IR18, overtaking him a little bit quicker than he would have liked. He drops now down to the back of this safety car pace lap field. And it's not the end of the world, as you say, so considering we only have 11 cars on the grid tonight, with being a couple of retirees means that there are actually only 8 cars on the lead lap at the moment. So it's not the end of the world. He can find his way back past. But we've seen in the past that Phoenix is a very difficult circuit to make progress very quickly. So he's made his afternoon or evening a little bit more challenging for himself, hasn't he?
He did. And those kind of mistakes, that cost you wins, Jack. That cost you extra. And whoa, Jason Lowe already on the throttle.
Yeah, so we're going to go very, very early there. Jason Lowe catches the rest of the field napping. Look at that, a very big gap. Big gaps all the way down the field, actually, and it's Ryan Bowles who really, I think, got the best restart out of all of them as he goes to the inside, potentially on Dan Ench in front. He's going to have a look. We're riding on board now with the driver of the number 25 machine, and he is not as close as he would have liked, potentially getting the exit a little bit wrong, but no doubt we'll see progress from him closer up in the races. Actually, we're going to see a swap position in front, Seb.
Yep. Dan Ench getting ahead, and look at his balls taking advantage. So 2 combo special against John Christensen. Down to 7th he goes.
That was very close there with the front wing of the number 25. Dan Ench judging that to perfection, and this is going to be an onboard run. So Ryan Bowles goes to the inside of John Christensen. He's going to try and get the inside on Dan Ench as well. Very, very good racing.
That could have ended poorly, Jack.
Yeah, I was half expecting a massive, massive accident there as I'm looking out of the pit box and there was
he crashed!
John Christensen.
And this will not be a yellow, Jack, because he's in the pits. I mean, normally that should have been a yellow because the crash in the pits, there's always a yellow in real life, but this is iRacing, so... disaster.
That's gonna be day done there for John Christensen. I wonder what happened there as this is a replay now.
Oh, something must have happened. Yeah, the Aman Lal special.
In slightly different fashion. I remember Aman Lal losing it on the brake pedal, but actually more of an understeer into the pit wall there for John Christensen finds him in a very unfortunate and short end to his run tonight. But looking back...
Oh, he has his fast repair, right?
He does have his fast repair. That's a very good point. And is he back out on circuit? He actually is. He is out on circuit, 2 laps down, albeit, so he'll be praying for more cautions, but at the moment he'll just be, for now, another car circulating around, waiting for the race to come to them.
So he already came into the pits, so that means there must have been some damage, Jack, if he wanted to go to the pits that early. I don't think we were in any pit cycles or anything else, so yeah, there were probably some damage to that number 44 machine, and now he's on the back foot.
So we're looking on board now with Ryan Bowles chasing down the rear wing of Dan Ench in the Alzheimer's Association machine. Will Ryan Bowles be able to find his way past? He looks to the outside for some clean air and fresh grip. Gets the over-under, and this is going to be a fantastic run into the final corner here at Phoenix. Dive to the inside, looks the inside line. Dan Ench doesn't really fight it too much. That's +1. For Ryan Bowles, up into 5th place from 8th off the restart. Making good progress, actually.
And David Strid, struggling in the dirty air. We see this always, Jack, in racing, where you have someone that is so dominating that leads a lot of laps, and as soon as they lost the lead, they're struggling in dirty air.
Yeah, I think the dirty air is always a bit of a struggle here at Phoenix, and you see here in the 48 not really being able to gain too much on that number 30. That's Aman Lal that we're looking at in front, getting so close and brushing the wall there. I don't think there was any damage. I've seen that a lot over the course of this race, drivers doing that, and that could be, I think, just a netcode issue. But now that we are deep into the next stint, we're going to look at that after this replay for Aman Lal, and avoiding the wall. So that will be a netcode problem. But going back to the pit stops, we have some drivers on 1, some drivers on 2, and some drivers on 3 stops. Our leader at the moment, Jason Lowe, 25 laps deep into his stint. Only one time through pit road. But after that caution, we had the likes of Aman Lal, David Strid, Mike West, Ryan Bowles, Dan Ench, and Rick Loverson, I believe. No, Rick actually stayed out on 1 stop. So the rest of those making 2 stops to tip off on fuel means they're only 14 laps into their stint, whereas Jason Lowe, our race leader, looking at 26 laps deep. Whereas John Christensen is in a bit of a race of his own after crashing onto the pit entry, finds himself down pit road 3 times and 7 laps into his stint at the moment. So it looks like we've got a reasonable variety in strategy, especially at the front end of the field, but we definitely know what the majority has chosen to take, Seb.
Yeah, this is very, very interesting. I wonder how Jason will manage for this strategy, but yeah, Jack, I'll let you sum up the driver standings right there.
Yeah, so it's going to be Jason Lowe at the minute, our race leader, 3rd in the championship standings, 57 points off John Christensen. He's going to be kicking himself after that pit entry crash. Our championship leader, unfortunately, is going to be relinquishing points to those of David Strid in 2nd place and Jason Lowe in 3rd. But we'll see what the championship looks like once things are done and dusted here. We're only on lap 60 of 190, and this is going to be a replay.
Oh. Yeah, and that car had
Mike West.
Yeah, Mike West. Like he hit the wall there. There was no netcode. He hit the wall, lost a lot of momentum, and boom, he lost the position.
The Norwegian driver finding the outside wall on the exit of turn number 4. Unfortunately for him, hopefully there's no damage for his sake, because he's running rather strongly up in the 5th position. But now back to live pictures. He's under attack from Dan Ench, I believe. A little bit further away than I
Low
would
in the
have
pits,
thought,
I think.
Jason Lowe is...
Or he lost a lot of ground.
There's a caution that's actually been thrown, so this is going to be beautiful.
I don't... Oh, that's Aman Lal.
Yeah, minus a front wing. So I wonder what's happened there to Mr. Aman Lal. We're going to get an instant replay for you here.
That's a meatball for Aman.
So how has he managed this? Is this going to be on pit entry? Jason Lowe, is he going to spin? No, everything seems okay at the moment. Oh, he's lost it already. You could see it there. Yeah, he's just lost it on the exit of turn number 2.
Interesting.
Right on board here, we'll get a clearer picture here. So we're going to pass Jason Lowe on the inside. He's got nothing to do with this, and we just get 2 trigger happy on the throttle. Spin it round. Bang!
Yeah, probably 2 trigger happy on that throttle at the exit of turn 2. That's peculiar at this place, Jack.
Yeah, well, I think that Aman Lal has never had the luck that he deserves around here at Phoenix. Always having a strong run and something, unfortunately, a little slip up or a little bit of misfortune. But he will have his fast repair, so he will be back in this one relatively quickly, although it is a meatball, but that goes away almost instantly. I'm sure there'll be a fresh set of Firestones going on that machine as the car gets dropped off the air jacks and he's back underway.
So Jason Lowe is actually the big winner of this, because he's back into the strategy of everyone, and he didn't do a lap at full speed, so that he pretty much has the same tires, the same fuels as everyone else, and he's back in the lead. So everything is good for him.
I think it might have been too much weight jacker for Aman Lal in the clean
You're
air.
right.
Just looking at the information that we get from these teams' pit walls, and you can see there, yeah, Aman Lal unfortunately a victim of the weight jacker. These drivers have so much to contend with weight jackers, hybrid boost. With what else have we got? We've got ARBs front and rear as well to contend with. So these guys are always busy when they're driving around, even if they've got no other car nearby to be battling with. They're constantly battling their systems and their cars.
Yep, exactly. And yeah, probably too much weight jacker, or maybe like too much like or not enough roll bars. Like maybe a front roll bar too soft. Because sometimes the roll bars they can be finicky, and sometimes you just lose when you turn and you just lose the front. So that's these cars are not for the faint of heart.
You have to be a magician to get these things around a racetrack quickly. Knowing my own team looking to qualify for the Indianapolis 500 special event, doing all sorts of weight jacker tips and tricks to get the most lap time out of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in this car around there. But we're not looking at Indianapolis at the moment because we're about to go back to green as Jason Lowe slams the throttle to the firewall, and he's going to get this field back underway. Lap 66 is our second restart of the night. Jason Lowe from David Strid, from Ryan Bowles and Mike West is your top four. Good restart there from Jason Lowe.
Yeah, 2 cautions. That's above average, I would say, for this league.
Yeah, it's mostly been just drivers getting a little bit, making some silly mistakes, I think it's fair to say, for the cautions tonight, although some being a little bit more because of netcode, and we had that very unfortunate crash there at the start for Milan Vogelsang. Well, not at the start, it was a fair few laps ago now, but riding on board with the 48 of David Strid, he's going to be he looks to the outside line, and the reason why he does that is to find the clean air, to find some more clean, dense air that can go over the wings of his car to push that IR18 further into the asphalt around this Phoenix Raceway. Because if you follow too close to the car in front in the same wheel tracks as the car in front, there's not as much air in that vicinity, so you ultimately get less downforce, and less downforce means less grip. And you can see now Ryan Bowles making use of the slipstream, and he's going to tuck half of his car to the inside of the car in front. That's going to be David Strid to try and close up on him. Looking back to Aman Lal, fresh off of his quick repair use, he's going to dive to the inside of Dan Ench. Dan Ench isn't going to fight this one too much, or is he? He's going to relinquish the place pretty easily, I think, now to Aman Lal, not trying to lose too much time, but now that's actually going to allow John Christensen, who's still a lap down, remember, to poke his nose up the inside of Dan Ench. Will Christensen be able to get that lap back from the number 52? It doesn't quite look like it as of yet.
So you may be wondering like why John's going so hard. He'll still be a lap down, but he's also he's against the clock there, because he must make sure that Lowe catches him at the latest as possible.
Another move here from Aman Lal around the outside of Mike West. That was a fantastic move there for Aman Lal and Mike West, wasting no time to get back to the sharp end of this field. 4th place now for Aman Lal from the back of the field after that restart. Remember, he's got a bit of a gap in front. Hopefully he can use the cleaner air to his advantage, as Dan Ench is looking to have a go at Mike West as well. Sorry to cut you off so abruptly there, Seb, but
no, you're good.
Continue.
But yeah, John, to go back what I say, yeah, John makes sure to maximize the time he has before the next caution. Like, he needs Lowe to catch him the slowest as possible in the meantime.
We're looking back still at this little bit of action here. You've got Dan Ench in the middle, John Christensen at the back, and Mike West at the front. Dan Ench is actually going to look for the move and to the inside line, but it's not going to be enough, I don't think, as Mike West is going to have the higher minimum speed and be able to get the drag out of the corner, and Dan Ench is going to have to go back to the drawing board on this occasion. He likes that inside line, does Dan Ench, but I just think to get the move done, you need to have that outside line at the moment.
I don't know what line I would prefer. I would prefer the outside lane as Mike West is doing, but like both lanes are doing pretty well right now. Look at this, they're still side by side, and they're coming to turn free jack. So
That engine's going to fire it back to the inside line and try and cut Mike West off. He's just about going to keep
West is still there.
Rose in front, but West is still going to have the overlap. But look at this, John Christensen, the car that's a lap down, nothing to lose. Now has a look at Mike West into turns 1 and 2. He's going to be eager to make his progress and get that lap back, but Mike West has no answer for Dan Ench's beautiful move 1 lap ago in this very corner.
I think I'm going to amend what I just said as we see Christensen sending it down the inside of 1. I would say I would prefer to have the inside on 3 and 4, but the outside on 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think that if I was out there on the racetrack at the moment, I would be trying to make use of the higher minimum speed that you can carry, especially through this corner here, turns 1 and turns 2, as we look at Ryan Bowles in the 3rd spot at the minute, chasing down David Stridd. These two are the best part of 3 seconds clear of Aman Lal in 4th place, so these two can sort of have their own little fight, or they can work together to catch our race leader in the 004. This is going to be rather interesting. The top 2 on circuit at the moment are currently 2nd and 3rd in the drivers' standings, behind John Christensen again, who is a lap down. So I think they could be a little bit more cautious here than what they would potentially be if they were leading the championship, or if they were a bit further down. So expect those two to hold stations, I think, for the time being, as we approach the halfway mark.
Yeah. Whoa. That was again another hot wall head for Mike West. Tail holding that outside pretty well. I don't know what lane actually I want, Jack.
Yeah, that was a very good move actually from Mike West, who sent it to the outside line and found his way right around the number 9 of Lovison. I wonder if he's got a little bit of an issue. It's a very, very big drop in pace that he's got. He's only 17 laps into this stint, so it's not like he needs to do some crazy save to get to the next pit window, as he's on par with most of the other drivers around him, but it really looks like there's a massive pace difference in these two cars. Mike West pulling what looks to be 4 car lengths almost now as they head into turn number 4 for the 84th time on this occasion. Looking back from Mike West's number 69 machine at Rick Lovison's number 9, and he's getting a little bit closer courtesy of the slipstream. He likes to run that middle line, does Rick Lovison, whereas West loves the outside a little bit more, choosing that favoured line to save those Firestones a little bit more over the longer run. But Lovison's actually going to start coming back him on the hybrid. Lovison's going to look to the outside, and it's a very, very sharp chop to the nose from Mike West.
I mean, there's not much you can do in the dogleg per se, Jack. So sadly, Lovison caught him at just the wrong time, because I don't know what happened to West, but like he suddenly got tight all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's all about timing the runs to perfection in these Indy cars. You can engineer a run almost at any point on the racetrack if you want to, but it's finding the right time to do it and finding the right moment to where you have the overlap into a corner or down a straight, because as visually seen there, the car in front in this occasion, Mike West, can just chop across the front nose of the number 9 and say, well, I don't really want you taking that line. And the number 9 has nothing to do but yield to the number 69's command. Mike West commanding that stage of the battle very, very commandingly as they gear up for what looks like it's going to be round 2 that's coming around very, very quickly. Lovison is going to actually have his... That's Bowles again, that's on the back straight. I wonder if that's going to be more of a weight jacker problem again. That's the first thing that springs to mind.
He looks pretty deep into the straight, so I don't know what happened to him.
He's going to be riding on board with the number 25, so he's going to find his way into turn number 1. Turns in beautifully. You see a little correction there, the rear coming round, and then... Yeah.
Wow!
Tries to save it, but ends up smacking that left-hand side up against the wall on the inside, and I think that is a weight checker problem again, Seb. It looks very, very similar to that crash of Aman Lal a few laps ago.
He looks very tight, so I think he's correcting a lot, and when it comes and when he needs to balance it out, he just loses it. Wow, that's brutal. That's a brutal one.
So that's actually going to put Ryan Bowles 2 laps down now on the rest of the field. I believe he still has his fast repair. I don't think we've seen him use it already, as we're going to see our leader and second place. Yeah, so that's Jason Lowe and David Strid, along with
West
who's
staying
in the
out?
background. Rick Loverson is going to come down as well. But yeah, as you say, Rick Loverson choosing to stay out. That's interesting.
No, Loverson is pit. West is staying out, and why? He's only has 6 laps of fuel remaining.
I wonder if he's going to try and leave it. Yeah, it's very strange. I don't think...
or maybe it's to lead a lap or something like that.
Maybe it's to lead a lap and gain that point for leading a lap. But then, you know, you're just sort of screwing up a lot of your race because you then
understand.
Because then you get the instant go to the back of the field car. As you know, looking out the commentary box now, he does peel down to the apron, and I believe we will be seeing him into the pits. Yes, so Mike West actually goes below the apron now, so he'll just make his pit stop a lap later than everyone else. And Aman Lal is going to now be the race leader after almost what looked like a race-ending crash a few laps ago.
Hang on, what? Oh. Okay, that's
as we are going green this time as well. So Mike West is actually the big loser out of this.
I
so he's
don't understand anything.
As the rest of the field take the green flag, Mike West is still going to be making his pit stop. As Aman Lal is getting ready to lead the rest of the field to green. It's going to be Aman Lal from Dan Ench, from Jason Lowe, from David Strid and Rick Loverson, the top 6. As Aman Lal is now going to plant the throttle and take us back to green flag racing. Jason Lowe is going to get a fantastic launch on Dan Ench, that is, in second place. He's going to pass him before even the turn number 1, and also David Strid's going to find his way past John Christensen now live on your screens. He's going to be the next to have a look at Dan Ench, and it's going to be a horrible restart for that number 52 Alzheimer's Association machine, who's going to drop and place his hand over fist here as we go back to green.
Christensen now back on the lead lap. That's the biggest takeaway from the expulsion, Jack, and that and questionable pit calls also.
So our championship leader is going to have no doubt in making some progress. This is going to be a pass for the lead. Here goes Jason Lowe on Aman Lal. He's not going to let this one go easy. Aman Lal to the outside. Jason Lowe to the inside. Aman Lal is going to still have the overlap as we look at Dan Ench. We want to see the battle for the lead. Here goes Aman Lal around the outside. Jason Lowe to the inside. They're still side by side, Seb. This is going to be fantastic racing for the lead.
Strid is eating his popcorn out.
Exactly, Strid wants to get involved as well. He's probably thinking, hang on boys, I just want to pick up the pieces here. You find each other into the wall, fire each other into the outside. We'll have a bit of a spin here, and I'm in the 48 who'll be right on board from the helmet cam. They're still side by side in front. David Strid saying,
crazy.
Well, he doesn't really know which way to go, does he? He doesn't know whether to go to the outside or go to the inside. Either line has the dirty area he has to contend with. He needs to be careful of his Firestones that he's just put on his car. But it's going to be Jason Lowe that finally gets ahead.
Here comes Lowe.
Here comes Aman Lal looking to the inside, and it's not going to be enough. Jason Lowe cements his place back at the head of the field. My word, what a restart that was.
Yeah, that was great battle from these two guys, and credit to them for keeping it clean. That's what we like to see in IndyCar League racing.
Jason Lowe now looks to be finding his groove at the front of the field. Aman Lal dropping a few places back. He can't really get too close to that 004 in front, it looks like. Taking a slightly different line. It likes... I think that number 30 machine likes to go into the last corner very, very early and sort of wash out at the midpoint, almost the diamond off the corner, but necessarily not come back for the second apex.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see that actually coming soon. Or no, this is David Strid.
David Strid is looking fairly comfortable actually in third position, so he is only 8 laps into his stint after everyone came into the pits on that caution. But one thing that you definitely need to note is Jason Lowe. He's only into the pits 3 times compared to those two behind him being 4 times in the pits, so he's got a little bit more in terms of track position because of those less pit stops, but it doesn't seem to be hindering him at the moment. Obviously at the head of the field, and on par in terms of how many laps these drivers are into their stint.
And now they're going to lap Mike West now, and I still don't understand the call.
Yeah, I think Mike West was hoping that the safety car would stay out a little bit longer, but he's now just a sitting duck, letting the entire field pretty much as it is go past him there. As you can see, that was David Strid making his way past. Next up is John Christensen, who's going to want to get past relatively quickly because he is on a recovery mission for this race tonight after that crash earlier on, being 3 laps down, I think it was, but he's found his way back up into 4th place. So a fantastic recovery drive from the early stages in this race for John Christensen, and in the 44 machine, hopefully he can find his way back to the sharp end of the field and give himself a chance at retaining that championship lead tonight.
Still, yeah, look how Anch went high, and he got the crossover and gained a bit of ground, but still a bit stuck on the dirty air of that's Mike West, actually, the loud car.
Yes, he's still trying to find his way past Mike West. It looks like he's struggling a little bit in that 52. He's losing a whole heap of time though to those in front. The gap is now 3 seconds from Dan Edge to John Christensen in front, and we ride on board now from the front nose cone of Rick Loverson, and he's got the 52 high and deep in his sights. He's going to be lining up that 52 for a move, no doubt, pretty soon. But looking back to the front of the field, look at this for a battle. The 48 against the 30. David Strid versus Aman Lal for 2nd overall in the race at the moment. It looks like Jason Lowe was sort of checked out a little bit. He's 2.4 seconds to the good, and David Strid says he wants a piece of the action. He's going to get on the hybrid boost actually and find his way to the inside line. David Strid makes it look easy on Aman Lal, up into 2nd.
And Lowe and Strid back on the top 2 again.
If Aman Lal can keep David Strid within tabs and keep within the slipstream range and potentially have a bit of a comeback fight, but it looks like he's going to drop quite far off the tailcoats of that number 48 relatively quickly at the moment, as we're on a lap 108. Sorry, I thought I was going to say 180 for a second there, but no, lap 108. So we still have a fair dozen laps to go here, so it's not race ending at the moment for Aman Lal. I think this could be part of his game plan, or maybe he's just struggling for pace at this stage in the race in that number 30.
I think in the long run, Lowe and Strid are the class of the field, but on short runs, maybe Aman Lal can do some magic.
Yeah, Aman Lal seems to be really pokey out of the safety car restarts and the restarts in general, but he seems to fade away relatively quickly as we now ride on board with Jason Lowe, the American. 72 laps led today, and you can see from the steering inputs that are going into that 004, he looks incredibly comfortable at the moment. To just tick the laps away, 110 laps in the books already, not too many to go. It's going to be 79 laps left to run. And Jason Lowe looks really so comfortable at the moment at the head of the field. Up 1 place from 2nd, but I think he's made his name very clear at the top of the timesheet so far this evening.
I kind of want to see again the number of laps they did in this stint. Because we have...
they are 21 laps.
They're 21 laps, so they have around 10, 12 laps to go. Yeah, that means they're still gonna do a short pit stop at the end of this race, Jack.
Yeah, so it's gonna be an interesting one to see how the rest of the race pans out. But while we're sort of 10 laps from the next set of pit stops, may I remind you that it's not only the International IndyCar League that we cover here on the Velocity Online Racing Series. We have a whole heap of IndyCar and Indy Next action coming your way over the next couple of weeks. The next one being the 10th of May. That is going to be, well, that is this race right here that you're watching live. After that, it's going to be at the end of the month. The 30th of May is going to be where we watch Indy Next at a fantastic, not Chicagoland, it's going to be Belle Isle, where Indy Next go to next, and coverage will start, I believe, 9 p.m. Central European time. After that, It's going to be only 6 days later, or a week later even. It's going to be the Indy Next Series that are in action once again at Gateway. Action will start there at 9 p.m. Eastern Central European time as well. And then it's going to be back to the International IndyCar League for the 14th of June. And they're going to be making their appearance at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for their Indy 250. That's going to be one to watch definitely, and coverage will start just like today at 3:30 Central European time. That's going to be on the 14th of June. After that, it's going to be the IndyCar Series Season 3 Euro SOF race at Road America Week 1 on the 16th of June at Road America. That is going to be a fantastic road course race to cover. Make sure you don't miss that one. And then it's going to be VOR IndyCar Series makes its return. Round 1 is going to be at St. Petersburg for the Buckley Do Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. That is going to be on the 1st of the 8th. That's going to be a fantastic one. You're not going to want to miss there. Then it's going to be VOR IndyCar Series Season 16 Round 2 at Michigan. That's going to be later on in the year as well. And then Round 3 of that will be later on in September. So we've got a lot of action coming your way here on the Velocity Online Racing channel. Make sure you don't miss any of that action by liking, subscribing, turning on all those post notifications, because the YouTube algorithm, of course, doesn't help out as much as we would have liked to as creators. But make sure you turn on all those post notifications, because it's going to be a fantastic summer of IndyCar racing coming your way, Seb.
Exactly. This is going to be a... Yeah, I'm looking for, especially for Belle Isle. That's the one I'm looking most forward to.
Yeah, I love a street circuit. I'm not going to lie. I might have to dip my toe back into a couple of VOR street circuit events. I know that the championship director, Julian, who is actually on the board today, is probably not most happy with me after my last street circuit appearance. A little bit of contact between him and myself, but it was a good race nonetheless. I need to clearly put in the hours a little bit more, because I'm nowhere near the caliber of these guys. As we see now Jason Lowe coming into the pits after 30 laps in the books. That's going to be a slightly earlier stop, I think, Seb, compared to what we're used to.
It is a bit earlier, but
David Stritt's going to follow him in. So that's the top two are going to come into the pits. That's Mike West as well in front, who's going to make the pit stop. But Aman Lal's going to lead the way, 32 laps in the books for him. I would expect him down on pit road in the next 2 laps or so. But there we go. The 004 goes up on its air jacks. Fresh set of Firestones glued to that machine, and it's going to be a beautiful launch. Business as usual. No big dramas there for the 004, who gets back underway into the race.
Wow.
No issues, no spins.
A 33 lap stint for Aman Lal. Now that is very interesting.
Yeah, so what he's doing is he's closing up that little... Because you suggested a splash and dash at the end of this one, didn't you?
Yeah, I would say if he keeps going like this and get the stint super long, maybe he can skip that splash and dash, but that would require inhumane Scott Dixon level of fuel saving.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be able to fully get rid of that final stint. I mean, it would be very, very impressive if he does, but either way, it's going to be a shorter pit stop compared to those around him. So regardless, it's going to be an advantage nonetheless for Aman Lal, who will make a shorter pit stop come the end of this race. And hopefully, well, for his sake, that could be race deciding as he makes his way now back out onto the race circuit. That is third on the timing screens at the moment for Aman Lal. It's going to be David Stritt and Jason Lowe that still lead the way. But he might need to start looking in his mirrors kind of soon, Seb, as Mr. 44 Nation is closing up.
44 Nation rises up because, and I know we have someone really rooting for John Christensen right now in the chat, so yeah, make sure to show up because he's on chase.
Really working those Firestones well. He's catching up very well to Aman Lal. John Christensen finding some pace here in the closing, well, getting towards the closing stages of this race. Aman Lal going very, very wide. I think he's definitely saving a little bit of fuel, and John Christensen's going to look to the inside, and it's going to be a routine move for the 44 machine. He's going to find his way up into the podium places after an incredible comeback drive after his accident earlier on in the race. John Christensen hits the podium, starting 11th, currently up to 3rd, and showing why he is the current International IndyCar League Series World Championship leader at the moment heading into this event, and he's looking to keep that title going forward. He's not giving up this fight all too easy, is he, Seb?
No, I mean, right now he's doing the best he can, because I don't think he has the pace to catch up to Street and Low, so 3rd position would be the best operation he could have in terms of points tonight, or today.
Yeah, these two are still 3 seconds adrift from the top 2, but they're very much glued together. Aman Lowe, is he going to have a look at trying to get this place back away from the 44? But I believe that he will be using the benefits of the slipstream to try and fuel save a little bit, as it looks like he's not closing, is he?
I think, yeah, that's his call. He's fuel saving. He's trying, as I said, maybe to skip that splash and dash. So I'm very looking forward if he can do it or not.
Yeah, the best thing that he needs is, well, the last thing that Aman Lal needs at this point in time is another caution, because that could completely screw up his mythology. Never mind. I'm not gonna bother saying that word.
Yeah, no, yeah. But you know what I say, like his plan.
Exactly.
Plan.
His plan to the end of the race could be completely wiped clean from the chalkboard if there is a safety car or caution at this period in the race, or at any period from now till the end of the race. But since we have only a few laps to go, well, I mean, it looks like we have a lot more laps than we actually do, but they go by so quickly here at Phoenix, and the average lap time is around about 20 seconds. But before we get to the action-packed closing stages of the race, I want to say one more massive thank you to today's sponsor of this Phoenix 190, and that is going to be the Alzheimer's Association, which leads the way to end Alzheimer's and all other dementia by accelerating global research, driving risk reduction and early detection, maximizing quality care and support. You can find them online at www.alz.org. There is where you can find all the information you need on Alzheimer's. And if you are struggling with anyone that is close to you that may be showing signs, make sure to go and check that out, because you never know, it could help you massively to get the signs early and get treatment as soon as possible. But back to the racing and back to the more happier things, rather than focusing too much on these terrible illnesses. We've got some fantastic action going out on circuit at the moment. John Christensen is leading Aman Lal from 3rd to 4th. Those two are 3 or so seconds behind Strid and Lowe at the front. Lowe looking very, very comfortable at the head of this field at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, he's looking unbothered, and even Strid, who had good pace in the opening stint, he is not really catching up, and he's losing ground on the double four. So yeah, unless Lol makes the skip work, I don't see a world where Jason Lowe loses this race, Jack.
Well, it could be a big case of commentators' curse. We had it only yesterday in the Indy Next series. We had a little bit of commentators' curse from yourself, Seb. So hopefully, for Jason Lowe's sake, it will be clean sailing to the end. But in all honesty, from a commentary perspective,
hey, Jason, if you're watching this back and if you lost the race, you can blame it on me, okay?
Well, I mean, from a commentary perspective, I think we want as much action and as much close racing as possible. So I would love to see how this strategy call from Aman Lal would play out, whether he does actually manage to skip that last stop and be right in the mix of it towards the end of the race. And you can see there the gap's very consistent to the 44 in front. And does he actually lift at all into the corner? It doesn't really look like it. He feathers the brake a tiny bit, but it's only a lift through the corner. He doesn't lift before it.
Yeah, but like, again, if he uses the hybrid, that means like the recharge is doing the braking for him.
Yes, that's a very good point actually. But you could also be using one of the many fuel maps that these Indy cars have. I believe it's 8 fuel maps that these cars have. Anything from safety car maps, caution maps, road course maps, throttle response maps, and then obviously the fuel-saving maps, which are very, very useful here on the oval side of the IndyCar Racing Series.
Yeah, you have maps 1 through 5. It's a linear throttle map, and yeah, just the power decreases the more you increase the maps. 6 and 7 is the same amount of power than map 1, but it's an S-shaped throttle map, meaning like I feel like if you're struggling on a corner exit, I think you have to put map 6, but like if you're lifting up the throttle and there you have like some weird funky things happening, that's map 7 you need to have, and the pace car map is map 8.
Just goes to show how much adjustability and driver preference comes into these cars, and they're really some of the most complex cars on the iRacing platform, and I will stand by that. Even the road course equivalent to these cars, being the hypercars, are nowhere near as adjustable and as driver active, I'll say. The drivers are very hands-on when it comes to driving these cars.
I'll have to disagree with you, because you have brake bias migration, you have roll bars, you have also like all the regen stuff. Traction control, yeah, traction control. Thank you, voice in my head. Traction control, you have that. All the electronics. So I would say the hypercar beats it a bit, and you also have the Formula 1 car, who are a whole another beast, Jack, in terms of stuff you have to adjust.
It's funny you say that about the hypercar with all of that adjustability, but from experience racing the hypercar in the road side of things, you don't tend to touch the brake migration or the traction control. You usually tend to set it and then leave it there for the rest of the stint, whereas compared to these cars, you're constantly fiddling, changing. When a caution comes out, you're changing engine maps, you're changing weight jackers for tire life, you're changing roll bars for different stints, or different amount of dirty air or clean air you may have, as we saw with Aman Lowe. If you're running a weight jacker that's set for being in dirty air and you run it in clean air, you find yourself facing the wrong way and smashing into the pit wall quicker than you would have liked to. So I think that when it comes to in-race adjustability, these cars are very much up there.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. And meanwhile, Lowe is spanking the field. 6 seconds.
While we've been talking, he's been running the best part of 3 or 4 tenths quicker than David Strid, and another 2 tenths quicker than Aman Lowe last time around, who actually took the place back away from John Christensen while we were rambling on about which car is the most complex to use in iRacing. So he now finds himself back up into that 3rd spot as we look at now. I believe that is Rick Leveson. Yes, it is. He's running around in the 6th position, relatively 1 lap down, sort of in his own world a little bit, because the next 2 cars are further laps down behind him, as we're going to get a replay from Aman Lal. Seb, walk us through this.
Alright, so he's in the draft, he's looking high, getting that clean air, getting the run out of the outside, brushing the wall. Now he's in the draft, probably the hybrid button, because look at the run, he's getting down the inside, he dive bombed, and there, as soon as you get back in front of your opponent, you got it. And that's Jason Lowe in the pits, Jack.
Yeah, so that's going to be another 30 lap stint in the books for Jason Lowe. On lap 153, he finds his way into the pit box. So, what do you make of that, Seb? Oh, caution actually comes out.
Oh, caution! Oh well. There goes all the fuel saving stuff. Thank you very much.
So this has played fabulously into the hands of Jason Lowe as he comes out the pits having freshly made his pit stop.
So he's... Ench has entered the pits while they were closed, so that's an EOL.
So that's going to be a little bit of a headache there for Dan Ench come the restart, and this is going to be again. So that's going to be race ending there for the number 25, I believe, because he's no longer got his quick repairs available to use to him. And that looks like some hefty damage to the front section of that number 25. Look at that, losing the rear.
That's game over for him too, because he already used his fast repair, Jack, so...
Unfortunate way to go out there for Ryan Bowles. That leaves us with only 7 cars running on the lead. Well, not even on the lead lap, actually running in the race in general. As we look at David Strid, he's going to come into the pits as well, followed by Rick Loverson in the number 9.
Yeah, and David Strid elected not to pit the previous lap and will pit now.
We've seen Mike West do this as well, so I wonder if this is a strategic advantage sort of thing that these drivers are doing, but it always tends to not really go in their favour at all.
But again, Jack. Because it's a funky pit lane, Jack. The league rule is like you need to be on the apron coming into 1, and that also applies, I guess, for caution. And that means pit lane opens when the leader is in like turn 4, turn 3, something like that. So that means Jason Lowe was a lap down, so he has to take the wave around, Jack. That means that Amon Lal will lead this race coming to the restart.
So in all fairness, it's actually played into the hands of the Altena Autosport boys as the pace car now comes into pit road. It's going to be restart
isn't even bunched up.
3, and the field is going to be spread out all over the shop, and it's going to be a very, very odd restart here as we are set to go to green with the best part of 34 laps left to run, Seb.
I mean, if I was Amon, I would have floored it as soon as possible to make sure Lowe has ground to make, but now it's a bit too late, and Lowe is already back in the pack, so...
And he's actually going to have a really, really good amount of overspeed in the background there. Jason Lowe already all over the rear wing of Dan Ench. You can see in the background, is he going to look to the outside line? He is indeed. Dan Ench is going to try and hold his own on the inside line, but it's going to be not David Lowe. It's going to be Jason Lowe that goes around the outside of Dan Ench.
Flag for Dan Ench. Oh yeah, because he entered close pits.
And it's going to be, of course, it's going to be the black flag for Dan Ench. And then also Jason Lowe getting very, very, very hip and shoulder with Mike West trying to find his way through. Mike West still, unfortunately for him, 3 laps off the lead lap. But there, just like that, Jason Lowe in the 004 has found himself onto the back of the top 4. This is going to be a very spicy race indeed.
And now they're going to be duking it out, because now if they let Strid and Lowe pass, they will not see them again for the 2 Altena Autosport cars. So now they need to put the hyper defense mode and just survive. And already for John Christensen, it's not doing well because he's under attack from David Strid, Jack.
So it's going to be side by side between Strid and Christensen. Strid is going to have the inside line, but can Christensen run the outside line? No, he can't. It's going to have to give way to the number 48, who promotes himself up onto the second highest spot on the podium, and he's already scampering and crawling all over the rear wing of that purple number 30 Altena Autosport car, driven by none other than Aman Lal, who leads the way on lap 161. Strid's going to look to the inside. Can he get the overlap? He just about can. They're both going to be on the hybrid down into the final corner, turn 3 and turn 4, but David Strid is going to storm up the inside, nick the inside line, but it's not over yet. There. You can see there Aman Lal holding his own around the outside. Can he keep the minimum speed up? John Christensen, the 2 Altena Autosport cars, running line astern on the outside line. John Christensen gets the move done on Jason Lowe for 3rd place, but David Strid still can't get it done on Aman Lal, who goes all the way around the outside and is going to get the overspeed and keeps the lead of the race just for now.
Aman must not give up his outside lane. This is get out of jail free card. It's where he's strong at. Now Jason Lowe made the pass on Christensen, and that's the Jaws music, Jack.
It is. It's the Jaws music coming as you see Jason Lowe, the quickest driver, I believe, on the racetrack this evening so far over the long run. He's still looking to make progress following the line of David Strid on the inside line. He's going to be burning up those Firestones, but he needs to at this point with less than 30 laps left to go. Jason Lowe in the third position at the moment. David Strid in second, looking to try and find a way past the man Lowe. Strid must be feeling the pressure because he's got a very, very fast IR18 in the 004 behind him. He's looking potentially to make the move on Aman Lal, but no, yes he is. He's going to go very late to the inside line. David Strid's going to challenge for the lead once again. Aman Lal finds the ball on the outside. He's going to lose his momentum. Here comes Jason Lowe to the inside line. He's going to go all the way down to actually find the pit wall.
Yeah, because again they need to pit again, Jack. So I think what Jason is doing maybe is some kind of undercut, maybe.
This could be a 200 IQ move from Jason Lowe. If this pulls off, he's going to pit early, so he doesn't have to pit later and get caught up with everyone else. But look at this move. Very late from David Strid on Aman Lal, spooking him so much that Lal actually finds the outside wall, loses the place, and instead of getting in on the action, Jason Lowe goes, you know what? You guys have some fun. I'm going to make my pit stop. Running clean air, run some very good lap times, and hopefully I come out ahead of you guys once you pit.
Yes, Strid has led him back by. Okay. Interesting. I didn't think it was Strid really who put him in the wall though, so that's okay.
We still see Aman Lal leading the race with David Strid hot on his heels, but don't forget, the number 44 car is waiting in the wings. He's leaving a little bit of a gap to save those tyres, I think, a little bit more. But I definitely wouldn't count out that number 44 just yet.
So yeah, update on what Jason Lowe did. He took tyres because he had a 7.8 pit stop. So that means he took tyres.
Okay, so taking tyres and then fuel to the end, I think it's going to be for Jason Lowe, who finds himself in the 5th position. Still, I believe, well, is he a lap down? Yeah, he is. So he is a lap down, but that is going to be completely cancelled out because the rest of the cars that we are riding on board with at the moment have to pit themselves. So once they pit, Jason Lowe is going to be right back in the thick of the action.
Exactly. And I don't think these guys can go to the end, Jack. 36 laps is too much on these fuel cells.
Yeah, they're already 16 or 17 laps into their stint, so it's going to be definitely another pit stop for the likes of Aman Lal, David Strid, John Christensen and Rick Lovison. So don't get me wrong, in about 15 or so laps time, they are going to be finding their way into the pit lane, and then that is when all hell is going to break loose for the last sprint to the cloud.
Wow! Lowe is dunking a second per lap on the leaders.
Yeah, that was a fantastic lap time. 20.2 the last time around for Jason Lowe compared to a 21.0 for Aman Lal and a 21.3 for David Strid. So these guys are really making these fuel tanks last as long as they possibly can. Whereas Jason Lowe is just going full flat out to the end. And look at this, complete clean air around him. No one in front, no one behind. He can really get his head down and drive this car to the peak of its limits. Look at that, consistent lap times as well. Within a tenth of each other the last 3 laps. Jason Lowe has definitely got the bit between his teeth to get this one with 16 to go.
Yeah, it's full Rambo mode. Knife through the teeth and just digging and digging and digging in. Already, Jack, if it goes green, he'll be ahead of everyone else when they'll pit.
He's really pulled a blinder here in terms of strategy. What I think is we now look at David Strid and John Christensen struggling to get past the lapped Mike West. This is going to be holding them up a little bit. John Christensen looking to stay behind Strid at the moment, but maybe thinking better of it. Is he going to look to the inside into turn number 1? No, he's going to hold station for the moment and actually drop quite far back. You see, lost about a length and a half there as soon as he followed Strid's dirty air. You can see how much difference it makes when a driver follows the clean air versus the dirty air. And you can see there just in the bottom left of your screen, our race leader, Aman Lal, getting past Mike West for the moment, but he's actually let Mike West back through.
Yeah, because Mike West, I think, is also faster than Aman Lal. I think he pitted She pitted recently, number 69. So yeah, I mean, at this point, for any of these three guys, they probably have to pit now, maybe to try and get an advantage, because
I think they are holding out for a caution at this point, because if they pit now, Jason Lowe will still be miles ahead. He's taken another second out of them last time around with 12 laps to go. I really think that this is, they've made their beds and they just need to lie in it. Aman Lal leads the way, but we think with another pit stop in the wings.
But I mean, there's only 11 laps to go, Jack. I mean, at this point, the caution is not going to come, Jack. At this point, yeah, you probably have to lick your wounds, probably accept that maybe, like, yeah, you got outsmarted, and try and get as much points as possible.
It's going to be close. I mean, what did we say? We said that there was 33 laps that Aman Lal has managed to get out of this car, and at the moment he's on 26 with 10 to go. So I think it's going to be extremely close. We might see some crazy lifts and lap times coming our way, but one person that's not lifting at all is Jason Lowe with another 20.359 last time around, compared to the top three doing 21.2. Yes, you heard me right, 21.2. So that is going to be a massive, massive difference in pace. But Jason Lowe is still quite a way back.
Yeah, but these guys have to pit, and even if they only take fuel during the last stop, they're going to get past.
I wonder if they're actually going to make it to the end, though. I wonder if they've stretched it far enough.
I don't think so.
I'm really skeptical as if they've managed to make it that far, but the pace is actually dropping even further. Aman Lal is now doing 21.5s, so he's really saving fuel. The top three have stacked up massively. You can hear from the audio cues on board with this number 30 how much he is lifting into corners. He's trying to make it to the end, Seb.
I don't think he can. I don't think they can go to the end.
This is going to be a fantastic way to bow out the Phoenix 190 here for the International IndyCar League. 6 laps to go. Don't go anywhere. We've got one driver that's pitted and is going full chap to catch these boys for the end of the race, and we've got the top three who are trying to save fuel and make it to the end, and they're in the same picture now. You can see there into turn number 1 and 2. This is the top three, and in the background you saw the red nose of Jason Lowe flash in the background. This is not a lap down. I believe this is for the lead of the race now. But
John
Christensen,
John is duking it out with David Stritt, so yeah, you still got fuels to save, guys, if you're trying to make it to the end, but he made a pass on David, and look at Jason Lowe trying to say, hey,
Jason Lowe's now looking
fit?
to the inside line on David Stritt. He's actually a lap down, so this is him trying to get back through with 4 to go. Jason Lowe's going to storm past David Stritt there into turn number 1. He's going to follow John Christensen, and he can do with those fresher Firestones, and he's going to look to the inside. He's going to split the 3. Christensen is actually going to come out of this with the lead of the race from last, and a crash to the lead of the race for John Christensen with 3 to go. Aman Lal's going to be, well, hang on a minute, how have I let this happen? John Christensen has come from 3 laps down to the lead of this race. Jason Lowe has really just used his Firestones to his advantage. It shows the difference in pace. He's going to be completely off and out into the distance. He is going to be kicking himself.
White flag.
He tried something different, and it's the final lap. The boys have done it. They've made it to the end of the race. And John Christensen, my word, 44 Nation, what a run it's been for you, sir. Started 11th
and Law's
into
run out.
the top 3. And then a crash, but it's going to be John Christensen that is going to be the king of Phoenix tonight. John Christensen wins. What a fantastic performance. Round 8 of the International IndyCar League goes to our championship leader, John Christensen, and Aman Lal running out of fuel, rightly, as you said, Seb, on the last lap. My word.
I'm speechless. Jason, I'm sorry. I jinxed too.
Well, at least he now has you to blame. That's 2 days in a row, Seb, where you've used your commentator's curse to good use.
Yeah, John, my PayPal is, I'll send you my PayPal and stuff like that, you know.
But no, what a fantastic race it has been for John Christensen. David Strid, I think, a very underrated performance there in second place. Very consistent, stayed in the top three all races. I'm looking now at the commentary box window and looking at John Christensen doing his very well-earned burnouts on the front straight. My word, what a race that has been. I need to take a breath and a drink of water after that one. My God. So then, the results are in. Of course, they are unofficial for the moment, but it's John Christensen in the 44 Chevy that takes the win in spectacular fashion from David Strid and Aman Lal, who was looking so strong to lead the race, but unfortunately running out of fuel on the last lap of the race. Jason Lowe took a gamble with I think it was 60 laps to go to make the comeback and pass the entire field. Unfortunately, didn't work out for him. He comes across the line in fourth. Rick Lovison fifth. Mike West a couple of laps down in sixth place, and then comes Dan Ench, Ryan Bowles, Callum Ford, and Merlin Vogelzang, all retirements from this one. And Matty Simpson we lost rather early on in the race due to what we believe to be a technical problem. Wow, I need a couple of minutes to digest that one, Seb. I mean, what do you make of that final stint? In fact,
I mean, I feel like I got bamboozled right now because everything I thought I know, I actually didn't know. So, yeah, I have no words. I have no words for that lesson from the top three.
It completely caught us by surprise. But we have the interview of the top three ready to go. We're going to drag in Aman Lal, who finished third in today's race. He's going to be first into the interview room. And Seb, I will let you take command of our third place finish driver today. We'll wait for him to be dragged into the interview room with us. But when he is, Seb, he is all yours.
I think you can. Okay, and he's in there with us, third place, and with a very empty tank coming to the end of this round at Phoenix for the International IndyCar League. Aman Lal, good job on third place. And how in the world did you three manage to save that much fuel?
Yeah, I think we had to save like 3 or 4 laps. I was in lap 5 the whole time, lifting so much, and I still ran out of fuel. But that's the last safety car kind of screwed me over because I could have gone another 4 laps, and that was like essentially how much I had to save in the end. So I could have made it without the safety car.
Yeah, because I realized this before that caution that you were saving a lot more fuel than everyone else, and I pitched the idea that you could go to the end without doing that splash and go fuel stop. Where were you getting those saves at on the track?
So turn 1 and 2, like a big lift on the entry, and then kind of just partial throttle all the way around, and then 3 and 4 was like a massive lift on the straight, and like coasting through towards the apex, and then obviously full throttle after that. But even that, it wasn't even enough. So fair play to John and David. They managed to make it to the end.
You had some tasty battles. Final question. Like, you had some tasty battles with like David and Jason. Talk us through that.
Yeah, it was quite close. I think Jason was a lot quicker than me. I couldn't even keep up with him once he overtook. Not sure what happened to him at the end because he was right up there. But yeah, I had to come through the pack a couple of times, so that was quite fun.
Yeah. I mean, Jason pitted because he probably thought he couldn't save those few laps of fuel. Anyway, final shouts to end this interview, Aman.
Yeah, thanks to you guys and Julian putting on the broadcast, and for everyone showing up, putting on a good race.
All right, that will be it for Aman Lal today, Jack, for this interview. I still am speechless. They managed to save this much fuel, and I think we have another one, my dear Jack, in the commentary booth. It's back-to-back race winner in the International IndyCar League, John Christensen. I mean, if this keeps up, John, you're going to ask that we broadcast every race.
Let me just say, I have no idea what happened in that race.
Me too.
I hit the attenuator, and I don't know how it worked out in the end.
You Kyle Larsen'd yourself.
I pretty much did. I completely did something stupid on the restart and gassed it too soon, and hit the wall. And then I was coming down to fix it, and then I hit the pit attenuator, ended up 2 laps down, got lucky with the lucky dog, and I guess it worked out.
I mean, it sure did, because you were in a big fuel saving, and I was like, no way they're going to the end, and I was curious, like when you went full throttle and get past David Street and Amon Lal, were you like, it's okay, I have enough fuel, or you were really on the edge of it?
I wasn't quite sure. First off, I do want to apologize to Amon. He did ask like if I wanted to lead. I said no, so I kind of ended up forcing him to be in front of me. Sorry to him for that. He drove a much better race than I did. But yeah, we were going like a lap slower at the very end, and I was like, 2 laps to go. If I want to win this race, I gotta go now. So I went for it and was basically praying that I'd have just enough to cross the line.
Okay. This time you crossing line. You didn't crash unlike last week. I mean, I don't think you were like, I'm going to gain points on my closest championship rival, but like you still increase the gap in the standings, John. But as you said, you're going to miss a few races, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna miss the next 2 races. I'm going to Indy 500 qualifying and the race, so I'm not gonna be there for those 2. So I just kind of have to hope that Strid, unfortunately, sorry to him, but I want him to hit some misfortune, and hopefully I come back at Gateway with more pace than I had tonight, because I definitely wasn't the fastest car on track by a big margin.
Okay, and Jack, any last questions for our win of the day?
Well, I just want to ask, what was your mentality, and how did you manage to crawl back from a rather race-ending accident to being, all the way down a couple of laps down to only leading 3 laps, but it was ultimately the most important 3 laps?
I basically was just like, when I hit the wall, I was like, oh crap, this isn't drivable, I gotta come into the pits. And then I don't even know how it happened, how I hit the attenuator. I guess I just wasn't paying attention, and I was like, okay, I ended up 2 laps down, maybe with strategy I can get back into it. But then I ended up getting the lucky dogs, and then it's like, I'm right back up in it, so past some cars, and then once it went into the fuel save, it was like, got a chance on a track that I really don't care for.
All right, any shoutouts on your way out of the commentary booth?
Again, sorry to Amon for basically making you lead me around. Even though I led you before, I do still feel a little bit bad. Shout out to the guys that put this race together, the broadcast as well. Sponsors, ALZ helps fund research for Alzheimer's and making it, maybe there's a brighter future for that. Bookly Do helps write children's stories. Good for, like late night stories, bedtime stories. And then a special shout out to my mom. I don't know if it's global, but it's Mother's Day in at least the US. So shout out to her. I don't know if she's watching. She probably is. Yeah, special shout out to her.
Thank you, John, and congratulations again on a second back-to-back win here at the International IndyCar League. And we'll see you next time. And Jack, I think this is time for us to hit the train.
Yeah, I mean, that was a fantastic end to the race. Phoenix always seems to throw up a fantastic end and always a dramatic finish to its races, which I always tend to really enjoy. But the next action from the International IndyCar League will be coverage from none other than the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That's going to be in about a month's time on June 14th for the Indianapolis 250 that the IICL takes to. And don't worry, we've got plenty more action to come until then. But for now, my name is Jack James. Alongside me is Sébastien Kinder. And once again, it has been Julian Altena on the board producing this fantastic stream for you at home. And until we see you at Indianapolis, it is goodbye for now. Take it easy.